It sounds like you guys are on site pretty much every day.
Every day,
yeah. Staircase being a good example. We're really pleased with the staircase that we've got, but it did take us a little while to nail the specification and the detailing of it. Top tip number one is, once you've decided what you want, don't change your mind.
Hello and welcome back to the Self Builders Podcast. I'm Mike Pawley, your host. Today we are joined by Helen and Simon, two of Mayflower's self-build customers who have kindly agreed to come on and share their pearls of wisdom with everyone that's looking to get onto the self-build journey. All the do's and the don'ts, I'm sure, will come out in the wash. Hello, Helen. Hello, Simon. Thanks for both coming on, especially as we've both had weekends of it.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it, honestly. I always like to start these conversations with, just for me, as much as the listeners, getting a picture of what the project is. So the sort of what it looks like, if you like. So give us a bit of a description of what the outer skin looks like. You know, the setup, 2-3 stories. Is it 1 story, etc. Just so we can get that picture.
Okay. So it's our forever house in a little village between York and Harrogate. Yeah, it's a bit blowy today. And it's 3 stories.
3 stories, 2 stories from viewing it from outside, but we have gone into the roof. But you wouldn't know that from looking on the front elevation.
Yeah. Is it a traditional, Harrogate? I always think of the nice stone exteriors. Have you guys had to do something similar to that on the outer skin of yours? Fairly traditional look, or have you gone more modern?
We've gone for a brick facing building, yeah. So it's traditional brick block construction.
Cool. And sort of size wise, how many square meters are we talking?
We have built 4,000 square feet.
Wow. So it's nice and small.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a while to clean.
Yeah, no, good for you. So when you found the plot, how did that come about, first of all, I suppose is the best question to ask.
So the whole thing is born out of lockdown and gin. Like every kid's story. And the plot, we were living in the next village. We weren't planning on building our own house, although we always talked about it, but it's quite difficult to locate land. And this site came up on Rightmove. And we had a little wander across the fields when we were allowed to, in our daily walk when we were allowed out, and had a look at it and kind of played around with it a little bit and took it from there, really.
So it was good old Rightmove.
Yeah, good old Rightmove, yeah.
I think it was badged as a development opportunity.
Yeah.
And we knew of the site. We knew what it was. It's got a bit of historical sort of story attached to it. But it was a brownfield site, effectively. It wasn't greenfield by any stretch.
Okay. Interesting. What's the backstory on that then, Simon?
The original use of the land was a very old-fashioned petrol station. That lasted for about 40 years, and then it changed.
I love the A-team in the background.
Sorry, that's my ringtone.
No, don't worry, I love it. Yeah.
So originally it was a petrol station, as I say, and then it changed use to a garden machinery sales and repair shop.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. So the land was, you could see where the old forecourt had been.
Yeah.
You could see where the old fuel pump island had been. But there were buildings on here, which was the sales centre, and then there was outbuildings round the back, which was they were quite dilapidated timber structures, weren't they? But they were in use, and they were full of old garden machinery.
Okay, so yours was a conversion of those existing dwellings, or was it a
No,
grand
no,
op?
they
Agreed.
weren't dwellings. They were like workshops,
That's,
really.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was
no,
there was a business being run on it still when it
Okay,
went on the market, but
yeah.
it
with
was
a tenant.
with a tenant in, but it was a commercial unit and needed some quite significant investment to be able to continue to rent it. And so the landlord decided that he couldn't justify the increase in rent to fund the kind of capital investment. So he put it on the market. So yeah, it had everything. It was contaminated. It had a tenant
Okay.
in there, and it was brownfield with no planning permission.
That was my next question. This sounds like really interesting. So you guys went literally as the opportunity from Rightmove. Then no planning agreed. Did you buy the plot without the planning, or did you take an option? Or
No, so we both do work in real estate for our jobs. So
handy?
I'm a real estate lawyer, and Simon is a project manager. So we're kind of we're used to doing this at work, but
Yeah.
not with our own money. And so we approached the local landowner and talked to him about it because we thought it was quite a small plot, and he might have got, if a kind of residential developer was doing it, they might have got 6 smaller houses on it.
Yeah.
But it put quite a lot of local builders off, I think, because it had some contamination,
Contamination.
needed the
Yeah.
tenant out, it didn't have planning. So
It was complicated to your Joe Public buyer, wasn't it?
it was.
But not to us. It's what we do every day. So we felt that we were the right team, for want of a better word, to deliver it, and that's how we sort of sold it to the landowner. He'd had a few struggles, a few hurdles along the way, and he just couldn't get it away, really. So we told him what he needed to do or what we could do for him, and it just went on from there, didn't it?
So we had a conditional contract. We put kind of 2 offers to him and said, we can either do it this way and we'll sort everything out and we'll pay you this much, or we'll do it conditional and you sort out kind of cleaning it all up environmentally. We'll get the planning and you kind of sort out the vacation of the tenant as well. And he chose to do the cleanup himself and sort the kind of just negotiations with the tenant. And we helped him with all of that, but he did it and paid for it, and we got the planning permission. So we got the easy bit really in the end.
Yeah. I mean, we helped him with the landlord and tenant issues.
We did, yeah.
We helped him with the remediation, told him what he needed to do, how he needed to do it, how he needed to satisfy the planners and the environmental health people, all that type of sort of stuff.
Sounds like you've leveraged your skill sets massively to your advantage, really.
We did, yeah.
No, fair play to you. So the landowner took the second option, you said, where, he's cleared everything out. You guys have got the planning agreed. How was the local authority? How was the process with the planning?
So actually, for our local authority, they were pretty good on the planning process. We did a pre-application first before we submitted a full planning application, just to kind of gauge kind of feeling about what we were proposing to do. We actually bought this plot with some friends and we built 2 houses on it.
Okay.
So got planning permission for 2 houses and the landowner retained a plot. So in total, we secured planning for 3 houses. And so Simon took the lead on the planning, and we went in and had a pre-app just so that we could iron out anything that they didn't like to try and kind of make it the actual process smoother, which I think ultimately
it helped. Yeah.
And actually we probably secured planning in about 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
So not too bad. And I'm assuming that helped the deal with regards to, giving a plot to the current landowner effectively.
Yeah, he wanted to kind of retain some things, or as a bit of kind of investment opportunity. And I think it probably was at the time, but, then, we were in the perfect storm of interest rate rises and inflation on build costs. And so actually, ultimately, in the end, he didn't end up building his own plot. He sold that plot on. but just
Great bit of deal making from you guys, though, by the sounds of it, you know?
Yeah. We were pretty clear with him from day one about we could deliver this. These are the timescales we think you need to be looking at, because we got the impression that he'd been given a few false promises from previous interested parties, and I think that's what he liked about us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Straight down the line. You guys obviously know what you're doing as well from your professional roles.
Yeah, I think he took quite a bit of comfort in that, really.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't a developer. He just, happened to have acquired some land through kind of historic family kind of ownerships that have been in the family for a number of generations. And this wasn't kind of what he did. And I think he just felt a little bit more secure knowing that we were kind of helping him along the way with it.
Safe pair of hands. Was there any issues with the local authority planning wise? I always ask this, and I feel like if there's any planners listening, they must think he goes in on the local authorities. But it's the thing that everyone has issues with.
The remediation of the site was probably our biggest worry. We had a load of site investigation work done before we submitted for planning. But we've found from experience that the environmental health people, and rightly so, they want the site to be tip-top and fully cleaned and fully remediated to residential standard. So we were a little bit worried about that. But actually, when you break it down into simple chunks of work, we did the site investigation report. We did some intrusive works on site to clarify what we thought was in the ground. We then agreed a remediation strategy. So provided we ticked all the boxes along the way, it actually turned out to be quite a straightforward process, a lengthy process, but it ended up being okay. It was fine. And we constantly spoke to the local authority about it. They even came out to site, and it actually went pretty smoothly in the end. We were pleased.
Simon, how involved were you with the project? Did you get somebody in, sort of do it turnkey, or were you sort of PMing it yourselves?
We were day and night.
Really?
And I did it together. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. While doing our full-time jobs.
We batch record some of these podcasts. I spoke to someone this morning who did the opposite, and we were saying, it's really hard if you don't have somebody running it for you and you're working full time as well. I'd love to hear how painful that was, and was it worth project managing it yourselves, do you think?
I would definitely say it was worth doing it ourselves, but then that's what we do day to day.
I think even if we'd had a project manager managing it, Simon would have been managing the project manager, because it's just in his DNA. So I think we just wanted to keep a really tight kind of control on what was happening. And, if you're not kind of there daily, we were here on a morning because we rented a house whilst we were building this in the next village. And so we were here on a morning at 7 a.m, kind of catching the builders and talking through what needed to happen that day, and just kind of catching things. Because if you miss it and a wall goes up, or, something, the sockets are in the wrong place, then it's a hassle to undo it, and it costs. So it was really important, I think, just to be kind of...
Sounds like you guys were on site pretty much every day.
Every day.
Every day. I mean, with another third party involved, yes, they can sort out your problems and the things that Helen's just explained, but all that takes time.
Yeah.
Whereas, because we were here every day, and if a problem arose, we sorted out the problem and we made a decision there and then.
Yeah.
So it was dealt with there and then. Whereas if there was a project manager, third party involved, that probably could have taken a couple of days.
Yeah, it comes down the email chain, doesn't it? Then you guys have to look at it in the evening, and you get back to them. They don't see it till the next evening, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spoke to someone a while ago now, one of our customers, and he sort of oversaw the project, but not didn't go to site, and it sticks with me all the time, because he said, I didn't realise how little trades talk to each other and how many decisions I had to make. And he was an hour away from site, I think.
Wow.
And like, just when you hear things like that from you guys, it sort of confirms the fact that if you're PM in a project, as a self builder, you do need to be.
You need to be
to
on
hand.
it. You do. You definitely do. You need to be there. Every day as it kind of gets towards the end, and at least a couple of times a week, and we'd come over on a weekend, and the house is just opposite the sports fields, and the kids played football over there, so they'd have football training on a Saturday morning, and we'd be on the scaffolding afterwards, and we just to kind of keep an eye on what was going on. And actually, for me, I haven't got as much vision as Simon, and so when it started to be built, that's when I could kind of stand inside and see it kind of being created, and I'm kind of better off kind of touching and feeling it rather than looking at it on a plan. Simon could visualize it from a plan, whereas I needed to be stood on site and thinking, okay, now I can see how this is all going to work. And so yeah, it's really important. I think it's very difficult, although it was hard to do it ourselves, I think it will be very difficult to manage it remotely.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I'm sure people listening will want to know, Simon, with how you started out with regards to the process. So plans were in. When you were tendering, how did you go about it, and what type of packages did you break the build down into? But i.e., someone to do everything, wall plate, or was it?
So we'd engaged with the local architect for the pre-app because he had a really good relationship with the planners. He created us some really good visual drawings that would give any builder, any contractor, a good idea of what we were trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. Once we'd got planning, or once we'd submitted, we then started talking to a number of local building contractors, both it was word of mouth, a bit of sort of searching around using the internet, what have you, but it was more word of mouth because of what we do every day. We had an idea of the builders and the contractors that we actually wanted to speak to. We still spoke to a couple that we'd never heard of before. So we started off talking to about 6. And then over the course of the planning period, we whittled that down to 3 and then to 2. And then we chose one. I can't remember if we chose one just before or just after we got planning. I think it was around the planning permission time. We said to the builder that we used, right, you're the guy, you're the man. And then in addition to that, we also tendered some of the key packages of the work because of the bespoke design. We've got quite a lot of glazing on the rear elevation of the house. So we wanted to nail that. So we tendered that separately, but we had a sum included with the builder. We did the same with the staircase. And we did the same with some of the mechanical and electrical work.
So it sounds like you guys basically tender a lot of the bigger ticket items.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but we kept the builder involved all along the way because of the intricacies between any general builder's work type items that the M&E guy might need and vice versa. So you've got to keep your builder involved, is certainly from our experience.
And the sort of, I say smaller things, but like the masonry package, the bricks, the blocks, the mortar, all that type of stuff. Were you guys ordering that and looking after that management of materials as well, or did you leave that to your builder?
No, we left that to the builder, really. At the end of the day, we had to comply with the planning permission and the street scene of the road that we live on. So we left the real detailed stuff, the mortar, the type of pointing, to the builder and his bricklayer, who the bricklayer was absolutely fantastic, actually. And the only involvement we really had was the getting the approval of the brick type. Yeah, that was quite frustrating, actually, with the planners. We got there in the end, but we had to go through a process of 3 or 4 different samples. The planning officer didn't like it. Didn't like the second one. We then mixed the 2 together, and we got there in the end. But that was slightly painful.
That held us up by a couple of months.
Yeah, it did.
So talking about timescales, then, what was your original, your plan to get it completed by, and did you come within that?
So we were lined up to start in the October.
Yeah,
the beginning of the October. And just before then, we didn't have some great news with a previous mortgage lender, which is where Mayflower came in to help us out.
Okay, that's
But
interesting.
we wanted to make sure that we were completely secure with our mortgage and our drawdown process before we started.
We'd been
Makes
using
sense.
we'd been using another broker for quite a number of months who had assured us that our kind of development funding would be in place, and we just started to lose kind of all confidence really. And then we kind of did a little bit of research online, and Mayflower kept on coming up. So we phoned our little guardian angel, Michelle, and she turned around an application for us, and I think probably in 3 weeks
She
we
really
done.
turned it round. So what that meant was, I think we delayed our start by a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we were open and upfront with our builder. He was completely relaxed about it. So instead of starting at the beginning of October, he started mid-October. And I said to him that, look, I've done all of our calculations, and my spreadsheet tells me that we have got to move into this house in 12 months' time. And we moved in, I think, in the 54th week. So
Good for you.
We were just over 12 months.
Yeah, you didn't see what we moved into though.
The house was far from finished. But we were in, and we were living it, and we were doing it, and
we went to work, we came home, we painted, we cleaned, but we did actually manage to host Christmas for 10 of us on 6 weeks later.
Nice.
Closed a few doors that weren't finished, but
And then the actual sign off, whilst we were in it and we were living here, the sign off was probably about May
the following year.
Okay, So if you looked at it from that perspective, it was, what was it, 17 months? But
once you're in, though, do you find that things slow a little bit? I've been there, you're in, and then it's more of a as and when sometimes, because you're at a certain level and you're in there already, rather than when you're in rented. Did you find that? Or
I think it did slow down a little bit, but it was around the Christmas time, and as the construction industry at Christmas time, everybody knows there is a complete industry-wide shutdown for a couple of weeks, and then the start up back into the January is always quite slow. So there was a bit of a slowdown, wasn't there? But we didn't mind that because we had loads to do ourselves. We did all the decoration ourselves. There was some sort of bits and pieces of joinery work that we did ourselves. So it gave us probably a bit of time to do that, didn't it?
And I think we'd run out of steam by Christmas as well. So we needed a break, and then we just kind of cranked up again and got going. And we did our bedroom then, and the kind of tiler came back. We had quite a carry on with the electrics, getting them all working. And so we just kind of like concentrate on a room at a time. And actually last week we put the carpet down in the last room.
Just last week. Yeah.
The ceremonious burning of paintbrushes.
And lost my thread there. So you just over timescales to get in, really, by the sounds of it. Have you got any top tips that you would give to people who are going to be doing a similar thing? Because most of Mayflower's customers they want to be involved and project manage like you guys have. Have you got like 3 top tips you could give anybody listening?
I would. Well, top tip number 1 is, once you've decided what you want, don't change your mind. Because that really does add time and inevitably cost.
Yeah.
So I think that would be our top tip number 1.
Yes, I was quite meticulous with that. I wasn't allowed to change my mind once we'd agreed on some things. Got to go with it, really. So yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then spec, I would say nail your specification. We had a few things where we sort of had an idea what we wanted, but we hadn't really nailed it, and that probably cost us a bit of time and money as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Staircase being a good example. We're really pleased with the staircase that we've got, but it did take us a little while to nail the specification and the detailing of it.
Yeah.
As an example. So, yeah, don't change your mind and nail your spec.
Yeah, so it sounds like as much as you could get agreed up front, and this is hard. It's hard in reality, isn't it? But get your spec and what you want to do up front, early doors, and try and stick with it is probably sounds like the best advice.
And maybe just
you could give.
Spend another couple of months doing that rather than being so desperate to start, because actually you might save that in the long run. Just homing down into things in a bit more detail before the diggers come in and start digging the foundations.
Yeah,
because when they get going, they really do get going, don't they?
Yeah,
that's what we were really pleased with. It started sort of mid-October. I think we had ground floor beams going on pre-Christmas, something like that. He really motored on those first few weeks,
and then suddenly you need lots of decisions.
Yeah.
Like you said, every day, different decisions to be made and things to be done. Did anything go really wrong that you would change if you were to do another one?
We've got a bit of steel structure in the roof to create like an A-frame section of glazing that we really wanted to achieve upstairs. We got there, but that was a bit painful between architect and engineer and builder, but we got there. But it was a bit painful to sort it out.
Do you think the value's there though? Now you've got it in, can you sit back and go, actually, in the course of time, it will probably be worth doing, or is it one of those you think would have made a different decision maybe?
No, I think we've definitely got there. I love looking out of that particular window from inside. But actually, I prefer going into the garden and looking back at the whole back elevation, because it was all to do with that. I think it looks great.
I don't think we had a pretty rubbish summer this year, didn't we, weather-wise? And we didn't have any grass until July either. But I think next year we'll enjoy it more and we'll be able to sit outside and look at it. Whereas this year we've not really had time to enjoy it. So I think we'll start to kind of love it more and get the benefit of it next year when the sun shines and we can sit outside and not have to worry about what room we're going to paint next.
And you're done, aren't you? Look, the sort of the ongoing build process is finished. You can bed in and enjoy it, I think, after you completely done. And last carpet's been laid last week, so that starts sort of now, doesn't it, really, for next year?
Yeah. We're just going to start Ream 1 again now.
Thanks for coming on, guys. I'm sure there'll be people on here that genuinely would have got value out of this. That little bit where you said, the top tip is just try and plan and get those specs agreed early doors and what you're going to do and not change your mind. I've probably done 3,000 sort of self builds personally, and that's definitely the bit where it can go wrong or over budget. So yeah, definitely a top tip. Everybody who is listening, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of the Self Builders Podcast.